Every night at 8 p.m., the routine would begin. Like clockwork, walk to the bathroom, brush, wash, comb through cowlicks, step into footy pajamas, scamper up the bunk bed, prayer said, then tuck in and wait for those magical words. Once upon a time. All I had to do was hear those words, and I was on the edge of my seat, completely enthralled by the call of adventure. And this is something I've never outgrown. Whether it's a movie, good book, TED Talk, or talk with a friend over coffee, if it's a story, I am there with ears wide open. And if we're all being honest, I'm not alone. You would be there too. Now, your story may start a little differently. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, or one dark and stormy night. And for all those who stayed at home on prom night, in a galaxy far, far away. No matter how a story begins, a good one will capture us. And with raptured hearts, we cling to each word, said, read, or heard, not just wanting to know them, but to live them. Because somehow we are more alive in their story than we are in our own. And deep inside we wonder, is my story worth being retold? But what if I told you that there is a calling that whispers your name, beckons you to the edge of average, dares you to bolster your courage, leads you through the forest to the trees, and introduces you to a problem that you were custom made to seize? Maybe it's hungry kids, single moms, protecting our environment or creating new jobs, educational opportunities, connecting communities, empowering lives, or honoring those who put their life on the line. This is where compassion and discontent collide. And as the plot thickens, your lonely road will lead you through valleys and peaks fraught with danger and risk, with haters lining the streets just hoping you'll flinch. And know this, that your hero's journey will lead you to an immovable object, intimidating, snarling, confident, and cruel. So why keep on going? I mean, you are gonna look like a fool. The odds are impossible, stacked against you like David and Goliath, like the Revolutionary War, like the Winter Olympics in 1980. But the great thing about stories is that we know how they end. We know that a giant was dropped by a shepherd boy with a pocket full of rocks, that a few years after tea was tossed in Boston, a declaration was signed in Philly, that a group of college kids, barely old enough to drink, took the rink and made their own miracle on ice. History is filled with improbable characters doing incredible things, armed with heart, not excuses. They defied convention, toppled walls, changed laws, rode buses, served the hopeless, and led the voiceless. And this history has taught us that victory belongs to those who have the audacity, not just to hope, but achieve. Those who believe that they are the unstoppable force, the juggernaut to confront the injustice they just can't ignore. And I know your next chapters are going to take everything you've got. Your very best on days when you just want to stop. You will feel paper thin, like you could break and not just bend, but just hold on. Don't give up. Don't walk away. This world needs heroes every day who decide to show up, not with what they lack, but with everything they've got, who answer the bell and live to tell their grandkids what a burning heart looks like, who hear their name and say, I am here, not to make a name for myself, but to follow the calling that knows my name. And we're here today to tap you on the shoulder and say that not only do we see what you do, but we see all that in you. We tip our cap to every step your journey's held. We want to pop your collar and pat you on the back because what you've done so far has been difficult. We want you to know that we can read you like a book, and like a kid at bedtime, we're on the edge of our seat. But like the sun isn't done at the end of the day, neither are you. Your clock hasn't struck midnight, so there's still time for your light to cast vision, still time for your all to be used for someone, something that's bigger than you and me. And it might be your first, second, or even third act, but the fact is that your best will leave them shouting for an encore. So no matter what it takes, don't be late for your very important date with destiny, because the story you've started needs a hero with all your talent and tenacity. And don't become overwhelmed by what's behind. Your past pages are just a glimmer of what you can do. How will your story end? It's your move.